Good morning. There's our wonderful tent. You can actually see inside of it today because it's light enough. And it did rain last night because the sand bucket is damp. These are the woods that we're in. There's another tent over there. It's like a trailer thing over there. And the rest of the tents are out in the fields there. And that way, where the loo is. I think a few people are up. I was going to stick our head around the corner and see who's about. Although I can see bodies. It's always reassuring. So there's definitely more tents than when we went to bed. Oh yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Toby Stupid Vlog.
So here it is in the sunshine. To the entranceway. See all the antlers that they shed that they've used to make a massive arch. And then in here there's toilets and showers and a little shop. All sorts. It's very nice. It's a giant butterfly made out of logs. These are fig trees. That's the car park. These are all the wheelbarrows to get the food back to your tent from the shop.
Hello.
So, setup is still ongoing. Caterers on site. All the rest of the ushers have gone to get changed. That's where the ceremony's going to be. Down here, we saw Alex dancing earlier. And then welcome drinks will be here. And then this is the giant teepee where the wedding breakfast will be. Right, ceremony is done. Festivities are now going to commence. That was an amazing ceremony. Here's the bridal car. Isn't this amazing? It's a proper Chevy.
Thank you very much to Steve for his kind words as well. Now, Steff, did you want to Now, my wife and I... my wife and I will be doing separate speeches, obviously, because if you met Steff, most of you have. There's no way.
Having a little gap in between speeches. Very nice, turning into a lovely evening. Everyone's milling and moseying.
Please bear with us. I know these are the last of many speeches, and obviously there's two best men as well, so just to add a little bit more. But Alex and I have had about half a brony each before we've done this, so you guys are all sourced so much, so we'll work with it. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who don't know me, I'll contradict what my brother said. I'm clearly the more younger, more talented, attractive, and basically just better brother, Richard. And this is his better friend, Alex, as well. So.
Place Growing up in the rain, suddenly everything changed. They're spreading on the beach. Yours is the first face that I saw.
Good morning. It's a fair bit more peaceful than the minibus was. That was the Masters of the Universe after several drinks in a minibus in the back streets of West Sussex. And now they've all crashed out and we're probably the only people who are probably awake. There are some people in the kitchen, but their wedding party, not so much.
Easier. What time did you stay up till last night? It was late.
Oh yeah, like 4 AM or something like that. Yeah.
Right in there.
Yeah. So I was like, when's the next time we can have a party in a gift shop? Make the most of it.
Did I show you the bathhouse? I'll show you where I just had a bath, because it's now currently free. Little bath space. It's actually gorgeous. You lie here, and you've got the sun coming over the top. It's a lovely place to have a bath in the morning. So this is the so-called bathing on. And that's where we had breakfast, you saw just now, in that little glamping kitchen. It's down in Steff's yurt. And I showed you this when we first arrived. You come through the Arch of Antlers, and that is the so-called go down where you can buy food and stuff and what have you. This has been our abode for the last 48 hours. It's very nice. I'm going to head back to the car with the 400,000 bags I bought unnecessarily. Here we are at Wakehurst, Kew's sister site. There's a lot of these sculptures that were in Kew a couple of years ago. We're going to go and have something to eat and have a short wander around. Here is the mansion. Isn't that impressive? Just had a bit of lunch. A cafe in the stables behind. And now we're going to go for a bit of a wander. That's pretty impressive. It's very impressive. And then we're on a hill, so there's a view down that way. But then here you've got the formal gardens. It's amazing ponds and things. We're wandering down towards the Himalayan glade. I would say the difference between this and Kew, the most striking difference, is the fact that this has hills and valleys, and it's very up and down. Kew's pretty flat because it's right by the Thames. It has this massive great gorge. And we're coming through the gorge. You can see up. There's not a lot of water in here. / none. Oh, I can see a little trickle down there somewhere. This is the Millennium Seed Bank we just popped in. See the work they're doing. They've got 2 billion seeds in there from 34,000 species, and they're processing hundreds of new ones a week. They're trying to have 25% of all the plants seeds in the world, so every 25% of all the species of plants in the world have a seed from them in the next 3 years. So that's quite a job. Right, we're going back to the car. I'm going to head back to Q's other property, or at least our flat nearby. Hello, it's a beautiful Tuesday morning. The sun is shining, and I am heading off firstly to WebVid's new offices, which I haven't seen since before they moved in, and then we're going to a meeting in Canary Wharf, which is very high powered and exciting. So that is my day today, and it seems quite exciting, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a bit of a change, which is very nice. I don't know that I'm doing anything at the moment tomorrow and Thursday. There was originally a job booked in, but that's been cancelled due to, well, staffing issues, let's say. People, what it comes down to is when you get quite complex projects, and you have a drama, which this one involved, like not metaphorical but actual acting, very often writers and what have you bring in their own people. So I was down to do it, but they have their own people, so I'm going to have a day in the gardens instead. Look at that for a morning scene. A high tide, the sun glistening over the river. Amazing. I miss this when I don't walk this way. Forget how striking it is. There's the floor, and we are under the floor. Come shopping with Neil. It's quite a long way to go for a bit of shopping, but you know, some people just really like shopping underground, so that's why we're here in Canary Wharfs.
One day we'll all shop underground.
Yeah. We're now above ground. It's only taken us a little while. It's very nice here though, in the Wharf of Canaries. There's fountains and trees and lots of giant monolithic buildings filled with people like James. And we're going to one of them, but we don't know which one. Do we know the name of the building we're actually going to?
Canada Place, I think.
Okay.
You know these little like water features here?
Yeah.
It reminds me, have you ever watched like old Star Trek Next Generation?
Yes, this is an alien world.
Yeah, where you're like wandering through and they're all sort of like in robes, like, yes, Captain Picard.
Yes,
blah, blah,
welcome
blah,
to
blah.
our utopia.
The latest Star Wars movie was shot in a station near here, wasn't it? And,
Really?
Yeah, in one of the underground stations they used
As an alien.
alliance base. What's the goodies?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Not the rebellion, but the goodies base.
The goodie base. Oh, good afternoon. It's a bit late afternoon because I spent all morning, frankly, messing around, and now I've got to go to the post office and then have a little walk. Make the most of the heat. It's when the sun's out properly. It's very warm actually today. Finally. So that's what we're doing. So I've made it into the gardens, but I have not made it to the post office because it selfishly closed at 1:30 today, and the only way I found that out was the sticky note on the door. So now I'm lugging around my mail with me for the rest of the afternoon. My post, incidentally, is the negatives from that I took with my film camera in Switzerland, which I did have developed, and the negative development is excellent. But unfortunately, the scan that they did, their negs weren't cleaned, so all the scans have marks on. So they've apologised, and I'm sending the negatives back, and they're going to rescan them after cleaning them. So on top of that slight customer service hiccup, they're still an excellent company, and I'm still going to get my negatives developed there. I also got a crack in the case for my iPhone, which has a lifetime guarantee, So I contacted them yesterday and they're sending me a new one as well. So it's been a customer service morning a bit, plus I had to wait in for my Amazon delivery, which was a smart light bulb which changes colour, which is quite nice, and a couple of smart plugs. So Alexa can now speak to them, which is, sorry if your Alexa just woke up. Now I've done it again. If your Amazon Echo just woke up because I said the word Alexa, I apologise. And I've done it again. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. Have to be careful about the A word in YouTube videos, because very often there's an echo listening. Anyway, I'm now fully smart homed, apart from having a lock and a thermostat and all that sort of shebang. And yeah, that's about all that's really happened this morning. Had a bit of a rest, which was quite nice. Feeling a bit more recharged. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing some wedding video, finally. So that's quite exciting. Today I'm just looking for some inspiration. These are the maples. This is where the colour changing for autumn starts the soonest. They've been starting at the beginning of August this year, and already some of them are quite well advanced, which is quite surprising. It's also a little bit depressing, if I'm honest. I'm not really ready for autumn. Haven't had summer properly really yet, just a few days here and there and a very short break. But in 2 weeks' time on Saturday we are going on honeymoon proper to Italy, and that is, as far as I'm concerned, where summer's actually happening. So the other thing I did this morning is I tried out my new Google Cardboard VR headset, which is basically a piece of cardboard that you put your phone in and you can watch VR virtual reality videos, which YouTube now has a few, which is quite exciting. The travel ones are the most amazing, but it reminded me that they actually got a VR experience here at the moment in the gallery over there at Kew until the 3rd of September. You can, in the Shirley Sherwood Gallery, you can experience the view from the top of one of the giant redwoods. So I'd strongly encourage you to do that. So this here is the very redwood that the virtual reality experience takes you up. It's a very impressive one. It's 150 years old, which by redwoods standards is not particularly old, but it's a reasonable age by the garden standards. There are obviously things that are 300 years plus, but still a very, very impressive tree. And the closer you get, the more impressive it is, actually. Hooray, I've both found a stamp and made the last post, only because the postman is late today, so everything's worked out in the end. And it's a beautiful day as well. Summer's being a bit unpredictable again. It's supposed to be nice for the rest of today, but as you can possibly see, it rained quite a bit this morning. It was originally going to rain again at lunchtime, but apparently it's not now, so that's a promising start. So today I need to make a start on the wedding video. It's one of like 3 wedding related things we still have. One is the honeymoon, which is awesome. One is this video, which is going to be fantastic when it's finished, but it's going to be a bit of a job to get there. And the last one is thank you cards, which have just arrived this morning, which look amazing and which we'll have to send out this weekend. And then truly, I think at that point wedding will become a past event rather than a future one. And yeah, in some ways that's a shame, and in other ways it's kind of nice to settle into married life. You do have sort of post-wedding shock, is probably the best way of putting it, when you've been so focused on one idea for so long, and then you don't have to think about it anymore. And that's why it was so nice to go to Della and Steff's wedding, in a way, to be able to see it from the other side, and understand the amount of work that it takes. And yeah, I'm still on a bit of a high from the weekend, to be honest. That's fantastic. Well, I'm not going to lie, I haven't actually done a lot of constructive work today. I've meant to, but I've procrastinated very hard. I've got to be in work at USP tomorrow, so because I haven't properly been out of the house today, I'm going for one lap walk by the gardens, and then I'm going to get my head down and try and do a couple of hours before Crystal gets home. So I've done something useful. And possibly some chores like the kitchen, which really needs a bit of work. But it's such lovely weather, it seems criminal to be inside not doing anything. You're better off outdoors not doing anything, so here we are. I miss walking along the towpath. I used to do it ever so regularly as a way of doing some exercise whilst having to go to work, and I haven't recently. I know I thought I'd be able to do it every day at one point, but now I'm just glad if I can do a short walk every day. It's reality versus the sort of optimistic view of the world you have before you get freelance. Watching this, you probably think I'm just outdoors the whole time in the gardens and on the towpath. It ain't true, unfortunately. The reality is that's usually where I film, because it's where I have a bit of time to think and actually pull my phone out of my pocket. But most of the time, life is maybe slightly less glamorous than this. Involves sitting indoors in front of a computer screen, but you don't want to see that. Or maybe you do, but I mean that is pretty boring. My advice is look at your own computer screen. It's exactly the same as mine. You're missing nothing. Anyway, continue our little round walk. I think despite my walking, I've been sitting down too much in the last 48 hours. Actually, probably more than that. I've just seemed to have gone from meeting room to meeting room. I need to spend more time outdoors. It's better for you. Plus, you know, the view's better, and that's good enough reason. But you do feel better. Like your aches and pains and what have you start to recede. It's just a better way of living. I think I'll be rather gutted when Hyde finally goes. It was only scheduled to be here a year, and now it's like 2 years, but at some point it is going to go. Q don't own it. I got it from an expo. It's just amazing, and I just don't know that you can easily replace something like that. A real shame. But anyway, we got it for a bit longer yet. Good morning. So in response to my own challenge about not walking the towpath enough, it did occur to me that today, Friday morning, why not? I'm going into USP, but we can get there from Hammersmith, so let's do it for our little stroll. So yet again, it seems to have rained reasonably heavily last night, and then left us with a beautiful morning, which seems to be the way things are going at the moment. There's no guarantee that it'll be nice all day. In fact, it's scheduled to rain over lunchtime, and that seems to be the very nature of August this year. Rain in the morning, possible rain later on. You just have to find the sunny spells and make best use. So that's what we're doing. I'm trying to work out when it was that I first started doing this walk. I think it was either 2011 or very possibly a year earlier. You probably have to go back in the vlogs and see, but I can't honestly remember. Certainly it's been going on at least 6 years. And I started doing this incidentally because I was a bit pissed off at work, as I was for the last few years frankly, and this was a way of clearing my head before I got there and sort of buying me a few hours of calm time. And it's frankly irrelevant of how good your work is, because it's not too bad at the moment, to be honest. It's quite a nice way to start the day. And I started doing it quite frequently, and I think by the end of my time at Global I was doing it 2 or 3 times a week. That should have been a sign that things weren't going so well at work, but there we go. But even with many puddles to navigate here this morning, it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, the sun is out properly, and I think I'll be much more zen by the time I reach Hammersmith. It will have changed rather significantly from when I started doing this, in so much as the Stag Brewery, which I've now passed down there and beyond, is being redeveloped, and as I'm sure I mentioned before, it's one of the last breweries on the edge of the River Thames in this area. Used to be lots and lots, and now there's only one that's anywhere close, which is in Chiswick. And by close I mean close enough to smell the barley as you walk down the path. So that's a bit of a shame, and I've also mentioned before the huge textiles industry that also used to be along the Thames here, and the names of the streets around reflecting that. But obviously when I started there was no textile industry, there was just that one enormous brewery owned by Budweiser, which had a significant impact on the smells you got in the walk in the morning. So that's a bit of a shame, but equally it was an intensely ugly building, so swings and roundabouts. With yesterday's terrorism in Barcelona, or as I prefer to call it, murder, it's really occurred to me that it's very hard to state for the future record quite how poor the leadership is of the two largest English speaking nations on earth, and the US and the UK. It's just pathetic. I think we're so used to them being sort of world leading that the fact that that's not the case anymore is quite alarming. I mean, the US is basically rudderless. It probably doesn't necessarily agree with that statement, but when you have, when you don't have a proper president, it's kind of hard to be taken seriously as a country. And the UK is busy throwing itself off a cliff, so it's refusing to say anything to anybody about anything. So we're two rather pathetic nations, and in the face of this kind of continuing sort of commonplace terrorism that we now have, and need something a bit better than what we have. I don't usually talk about terrorism too much because it's just miserable and pointless. I'll say what I always say though, is that it's not very successful. In fact, it's hugely unsuccessful. It usually polarises a nation in the other direction, not necessarily the way that terrorism wants, which is to be, violent and murderous back, but in a way of being resolute and against the idea. And if you're upset and disturbed by what you've seen in the last 24 hours, just to give you some semblance of comfort, know that still basic conventional road traffic accidents still claim far, far more people than terrorism, and they're equally tragic and pointless. So it's still not a significant danger to your life or your way of life. That is just a beautiful and spectacular view that I'll never grow tired of. And I haven't been through Barnes in a while. Ancestral home of Robert Pattinson, former home of Gustav Holst. All the greats. It's a nice town, and I was just waiting to see what they'd done with the pub on the corner before I head off towards the little path along there, and the lake whose name I've forgotten. Something to do with a lamb. The Leg of Mutton, that's it, Leg of Mutton Lake. It's basically a sort of oxbow lake that's formed out of the Thames and sort of stuck around. So someone has rather selfishly removed the bench. I usually have a little sit on. How dare they? My rest has been interrupted. Oh well, never mind. It's amazing here when it's green, it's so lush. It almost blocks the sun out. You have this little tunnel In the winter this is so exposed. I'm going to continue to Hammersmith Bridge, which I'm not far away from now. We're nearly there. You can see Hammersmith there. The bridge is literally just here. So I've made rather better time than I was planning, which is a little annoying, but there we go. Means I've got time to go and get breakfast when I get to the other end.